taking over the auto industry, the space industry, transportation, energy, all these different industries at once wasn't enough for Elon Musk. I think he's going to take on one more big project based on his recent tweets. Maybe I'm crazy, but let me know what you think after watching this video. I think it'll be worth your time to watch it all the way through because it has a lot to do with Tesla as a company, as well as just Elon Musk's goals of helping humans around the world in a way. Again, maybe I'm crazy thinking this, but let me know what you think, again, in a comment down below. If you agree with me, please hit the like button. If you don't agree with me, hit the dislike. But I think Elon Musk is going to enter the media industry, and that's just me saying that point blank, but I have some points I'm going to bring up, and I'm going to show some tweets on my screen over here as well on why I think he's going to do this. But let's take consideration of the fact that Tesla has not done any advertising. How has a company scaled to, let me show you my screen real quick. How has a company scaled to being a $1 trillion market cap? You got a $1 trillion company without any advertising budget. You've scaled to be that large with no advertising. Well, you do that when your CEO has 80 million followers on Twitter. Virtually at his fingertips, he can reach out to millions upon millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of people when you consider of the retweets and how far that information gets brought out through news networks and things like that whenever he decides to tweet something. So obviously it's a very big deal whenever Elon Musk uses this platform. Now, what I would argue based on this recent tweet of his, let me scroll down here. So he just tweeted this out, which is essentially poking the bear, so to speak, because I'm sure the people that run the company are not very happy to see something like this. He writes, "Free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle?" And what's interesting, you got 30% saying yes and 70% saying no, that Twitter does not adhere to this principle. So, and then he writes underneath this, "The consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully." Now, why would you poke the bear that lets you reach 80 million people at once, so to speak? Like that just doesn't make sense to me that you would do that if you were planning to only use this platform for the foreseeable future. Because honestly, if I was a shareholder and I was part of the company that has a market cap of over $1 trillion and I was a shareholder in this company, I'm not, so disclaimer. Let me go back to my main screen here. And I know some people might think it's like, how are you mixing Twitter with the truth is Tesla has done no advertising. How is Tesla larger than Ford, GM, all these companies like combined with no advertising? Well, you have a rock star as a CEO. Reaching out to 80 million people is no joke. He's one of the biggest influencers on the platform. And the problem becomes that when you have that much influence and your celebrity CEO uses only one platform, keep in mind, he's not on Instagram. I don't believe he's on, he's even talked bad about Facebook and Instagram. So he's not on either of those. And he doesn't have a platform other than Twitter. So even if I was a shareholder, I would kind of think to myself, wow, a lot kind of relies on him being able to use that Twitter. And think from a game theory perspective here, does it make sense to have that kind of leverage only on one avenue like that? And you're poking at that avenue saying, hey, you know, you're not running a functioning democracy the right way, so to speak, even though it's a private company. And I know we'll get those comments saying, hey, it's a private company. Private companies can do what they want to do. What my argument is how hard would it be for Elon Musk to decide to create his own company around media? Something to think about. The guy is one of the richest, if not the richest, actually with the Tesla stock back up, I believe he's back to being the richest person in the world. You think he can't acquire one of these companies? Of course he can. Of course he can acquire a media company. And the second he decides to, you instantaneously have tens of millions of people that are going to fly over there. Now, he's also good friends with Joe Rogan. And I'm not the first person to bring up this theory. I believe the first time I heard somebody bring it up was Patrick Bet-David from Valuetainment. I admire him quite a bit. And I was watching him bring this up a while back. And this recent tweet, at first I'm like, Patrick, I think you're kind of pulling at straws here. I don't know if that's going to happen, if Elon Musk can take this on. But he had brought this up, and then when I saw that tweet, that's what made me go, you wouldn't do that for no reason. You're bringing this up into people's minds, and then what's your next step there? I think his next step is he could easily acquire a media company, team up with somebody like Joe Rogan, and this is an argument that Patrick was talking about, that if Joe Rogan and him teamed up, boom, you would overnight have a powerhouse. Now, I don't know the logistics of what's going on with Spotify or whether they would be involved. Maybe Elon could even I don't know the valuation of Spotify off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up, but I don't have my keyboard in front of me. But overall, you have the richest person in the world who has friends around the world, friends that have huge followings. So it wouldn't be very hard. It's not like Elon Musk would have to be sitting in a back room coding this thing. I think that he would just acquire a media company, put the right team together, go shoulder to shoulder with somebody like Joe Rogan or some other friend of his that reaches out to as many people as Joe, or he could do it by himself. But I don't think he would do what he recently did with these tweets if he didn't have something like that in the pipeline. And it makes a lot of sense, because really, if your mission is, like he's talking about, accelerating the advent of sustainable energy or something as his slogan with Tesla's, things along those lines, well, having a media company kind of fits the narrative of helping humans around the world. So it's like that's kind of what he's reaching out to do. And then on top of it, it's like you have Starlink, you have everything that you're building is revolving around the internet, and you don't have a media company. And the biggest reason I bring this up is if you have 80 million followers on one platform and you haven't had to do any advertising with any of your companies based on your celebrity status, and you're relying on that one platform that you don't have any ownership stake in, that's a very scary amount of your power that you leave in one place. And I'm sure Elon has game theoried this out to think to himself, what would happen if I didn't have this account? What if it just was gone overnight? That would be, it's crazy to say this, but like damaging to his companies, because he reaches out and he's built these companies into these powerhouses with zero advertising based on his celebrity status. Now, he could still probably get on a YouTube channel or something along those lines to get his word out, but the power that he has at his fingertips by just putting out a tweet to 80 million people at once is quite a bit. So again, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm grabbing at straws here, but I'm not the first person to say this. I'm just the first. I don't know if I'm the first person bringing this up on YouTube today, but he just tweeted this out within the last 24 hours. The poll's not even up yet, but the fact that it's so sided opposed on the poll, and it's still up. I think there's another few hours left of the poll, but millions of people have voted on this. And so why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. So again, I didn't, at first when I heard Patrick Bet-David bring up this theory, again, this is not just my thought alone. It was actually, I think he's the first person I heard bring this up. This was it might have been even a month or so ago. I didn't believe it at first. I'm like, that's a little bit crazy. But now that I saw those tweets, it makes a lot more sense. Let me know what you think in a comment down below. Is Elon way too busy to do something like this? Does it make sense that he's putting way too much power on one platform and he has no ownership in this platform, and he would like to have ownership in this platform? Maybe he makes an acquisition there. Maybe he wants to get Twitter, or maybe he wants to put a position in there, or maybe he just wants to make his own, which I think would be more likely, or to buy out a smaller media company that he can then just pretty much inject a huge following into whatever he decides to acquire. Thank you for watching. That's the video. Again, let me know what you think in a comment down below, and I will see you at the next video. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Just remembered off the top of my head, please do click that red subscribe if you find some value in my videos. I'm trying to grow the channel to 100,000 subscribers by this year in 2022. Before 2023, I've put it out there in the universe. I'm trying to grow this account to 100K. So if you could help me get there and share this content and click that subscribe, would really, really appreciate it. See you at the next one. Signing out.